I hear the voices inside my head, see voices behind the wall, uplifting the underdog, we fighting above the law.
Can y'all hear me? Let me know if you can hear me all right in there. Lady Lolo, hey Bumfluff. Hammer time. Now this is the sure we all love, breaking down the bullshit characters. I'd like to see somebody ask John Skelton's opinion on this case before. Hey Z, Brooke, everyone can hear? All right, awesome. Before we get started, I want to share with you guys, everyone's heard about Nana's Angel's passing, and I know, y'all know how I'm jaded to this shit online. However, I feel confident now that it's legit. I knew that before. Nana's Angels, I didn't figure the type to be like that, but you know, I'm not gonna lie and say that I wasn't wondering. But it is legit. If anyone thinks it's a scam, you know, it's not. There is actually a funeral home. Her children went live and I watched that, and it was, holy shit, was that heartbreaking. Oh my God. Okay. Wow. It was beautiful. It was heartbreaking. It was everything all in one. If you haven't checked it out, check Nana's Angels channel out and you'll see where her entire family did a live stream and they were just all in tears. So let me share my screen so I can let you guys know, for people who feel uncomfortable, and I understand, of sending cash apps for things like this. There is a funeral home that you can donate to instead. Let me make that a little bit bigger. Okay. Haven Memorial, 2642 East Highway 2570, Dan Ridge, Tennessee, and there's a phone number. They are taking donations towards the funeral. The family does not have the money to pay for the funeral that Nana's Angels had always wanted. It was not her wish to be cremated. That's the way the family's kind of being pushed to do, because it's the cheapest route, and I think that's super fucking sad. So I felt comfortable sharing this because I know a lot are probably more comfortable with this as well. Now, if you want to go ahead and go on the channel, you can see their Cash Apps linked as well, and their other Venmos and stuff like that, if you do want to go that route. Otherwise, here is a way this memorial place is taking donations to help. She did not want to be cremated. That was against her wishes. So I'm hoping that the community will really come together and surround her family with lots of love and try to make her wishes happen. Hi everyone. Hi Crazy Chicken Lady. Sorry, I can't see chat yet. Okay. And I've shared this in my community posts as well. Many other people are sharing that out. If you feel comfortable, please share it out on your stuff. All right. I'll share this again at the end here. Nana's Angels, Glitter Witch. Nana's Angels. She's been fighting in Summer's case for about the entire time, 26 months. Hello, Channel Surfer. Cinder Element, Jolie, Taylor, Lisa, Angie's Life, everybody. L'Oreal. Did I say that right? Oh, that's very nice of you. Yeah, I figured a lot of people would be a little bit like me, and that would make people feel a little bit more comfortable. And that's okay. Online is a crazy world online, this virtual world that we all live in, right? So it's okay to be jaded to things and want, you know, a little more details on things. So, all right. I wanted to go over some stuff with you guys today about Summer Wells' case. And the topic, as you can see, talking about who's a suspect, who's been cleared, who's a suspect 26, almost 27 months later, because we hear, Jody Sue thinks she's been cleared. Other people all say that they've been cleared, right? So I thought it's important. All right, well, let's go back. Let's re-listen to the newest stuff, which is what I did. And some things, again, jumped out at me. And every couple of weeks, I'd say there's new faces that are picking up this case. And especially now with the awesome stuff that Benny and Tiffany Marie have started with the blip boards, her face is getting seen more than ever before. So it's going to hopefully draw new attention to wanting to know more about Summer Moon Utah Wells. Sorry, I'm eating while I'm doing this because I gotta go to work after this. Hey, Patty Ponytail. Abba, yes. Hi, innocent till proven guilty. We Scottish Ma, good to see you. Good to see you. Mods, by the way, if you happen to have the link for the Haven Memorial, if you want to link that information that I just showed into a comment that I can pin, or I can do that in a few minutes too, but you're going to hear clicking on the keyboard when I do that. Okay, you're still saying parents, Tracy. Okay. I'm not saying it's not fair to think that Don and Candus are guilty of something. I mean, clearly when it happens at their home with one of the parents and grandparents around, yeah, I understand that. Don understands that. Okay. Let me pull it up. Sorry. Okay, so. It should be in my history, actually. There we go. Not my library, but my history. Is this the one? Yeah, I think this is that the one? I think this is the one. Let me see here. Okay, 1 second. Sorry, guys. All right. Oop. And I oop. You're still saying innocent. Laced in perfume, long time no see. Hey, Amy. Rock54. You enjoy my channel and Cotton Candy Boobs. You gotta enjoy Cotton Candy Boobs if you like this channel. You're still saying innocent. The parents are innocent. You're saying innocent until proven guilty. Okay. Which is fair. I think it's very possible that they're innocent. Sorry, can you hear the dryer? My work clothes are in there. I always forget how to do this. Okay. All right. Opinions are all we all have. That's the one thing we all have in common, is that everything that we're thinking and saying and doing on these cases is just that. It's our opinions, it's our thoughts. We've all touched the cases in our own personal ways, whether we agree with one another or not. I think, though, I will say, for the most part, I believe everyone really does mean well. I do. I think that there are some that honestly care about the views, clicks, and all the money coming in more than it's not to say that I don't think that they mean well either, but I really think that they only mean well because then they think, oh, I'm going to share that on my channel. Oh, like, you know what I'm saying? You've seen other creators that do that, and then they'll put it like in their actual information. Oh, I was featured on blah blah blah. You don't see that me doing that shit. I've been featured on shit too. I don't share that like as my channel thing though, you know, so that people take me more credible, and that's when I think things start crossing a line. Okay. For me, morally, for me. You feel Donald and Candus are innocent. Lady R, good to see you, boo. Okay.
Engines and
Well, I have to say I'm leaning towards accident cover-up. I thought that too for a while. But Cassius, my boo. Accident cover-up. I can't ignore the shady people if we're going to look at what makes a suspect as well, right? So, okay, let's talk about that for a second before we get into this. Let's do that first. Hold on. One more bite. Okay. By the way, what my eyes have seen, my brain won't forget. That's a good way of saying it too. Absolutely. Okay. So I'm just texting Don back. We've been chit-chatting a little bit about... Him and Candace are working on some things to try and help find Summer as well. But I'll leave that up to... You know, I always like to say I'll leave it up for them to say, but then, you know, someone else will just jump on it for content anyway. But again, I'll leave that is up to Don if he wants to address what's going on. Or doesn't right now. He probably doesn't work right now, but... I think that it sounds like the law is kind of got a heavy foot pedal to the metal with some Fred Hill going on. Well, that'll be a different show. All right, so for you guys, what makes a suspect, right? So it has to be usually... It's somebody who has motive, obviously, who would have motive, right? Also, access. Someone who's got access. And when we're talking about 110 Ben Hill Road, it's definitely someone who's had to have access, who's driven that, knew that they'd be able to get up and down that if, in fact, a vehicle went up there. But again, motive... access, people around the missing person or passed away person, Again, that kind of goes with the access that someone has. Knowing the terrain, yep. All right, let's listen to this.
I'm Marnie Hughes, and this is Missing on News Nation. Thank you for being with us. Each and every week here at News Nation, we focus on a missing persons case from across the country, taking you behind the scenes, behind the headlines, because every missing person matters, no matter their background or their past, their race or their circumstances. They are missed by their family, their friends, their community, and sometimes by complete strangers. It is our mission.
Ain't that the truth? Did you hear what she just said?
Under their past, their race, or their circumstance. I'm Marnie Hughes, and this is Missing on News Nation. Thank you for being with us. Each and every week here at News Nation, we focus on a missing persons case from across the country, taking you behind the scenes, behind the headlines, because every missing person matters, no matter their background or their past, their race, or their circumstances. They are missed by their family, their friends, their community, and sometimes...
After the third day that Summer was not found, I drove up by the house as it is like 5 miles from me. I decided that day that little Summer was taken. I thought lost in the woods first. Okay, interesting case, skeleton. That's interesting. Let me find that here. Excuse me. Hi, Happy Watcher. Oh, while you're making supper. Hi, Selena. Definitely missed by family, and definitely missed by all of us who are strangers to her.
By complete strangers. It is our mission to bring these cases to light with the hopes of finding answers and also offering closure. Maybe you can help us solve some of these mysteries too by listening and being engaged in the stories. This is Missing, and today our missing case is one we have covered before. It's been 2 years since a little girl from Tennessee vanished from her rural home.
All right, so this is from 2 months ago for Summer's 2-year anniversary date of being missing. Okay. I rewound this probably 100 times last night. Linda, right? She says opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got them.
Home. Her name is Summer Wells, and her case has captivated people across the country. We have a brand new age progression photo to share with you from the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation in this case. And this shows what Summer would likely look like today. She was 5 when she disappeared. She would be
So
7 years
beautiful.
old now.
Looks like Josie
All
a
of the
lot.
attention in this case has led to no tips, no leads for investigators, but it has led to harassment towards her parents, and they have been at the center of the investigation. Law enforcement remain tight.
Must mean in the last 2 months, no tips, no whatever. That can't be right, right? Okay, anyways, let's go on.
Lipped about what they know and what they have as evidence. But Summer's father did sit down with News Nation recently. He maintains his innocence, and he wants to keep his daughter's story in the headlines.
Who's ready to hatch some cool pets? Click
No.
here to make your...
This is Summer Wells. The 5-year-old lived at this house in Rogersville, Tennessee, a tight-knit community of less than 5,000 people. On June 15, 2021, her parents say Summer was helping plant flowers with her mom and grandmother.
And she wanted to go into the house. My wife watched her go into the door, and she went into the house, and the boys were on the internet, of course. She wanted to go downstairs and play with her toys.
I yelled downstairs for her a couple times, and I didn't get no answer, which was unusual. And so I went down there to check, and she was nowhere in sight.
Okay. Same story we've
2
been
years
hearing.
after her parents, Don and Candus Wells, gave those accounts, that's still all we know about the last time Summer was seen. Almost immediately.
Sunshine Dragonfly, hey boo. Patty Allen, who is she, Nana's Angels? She's another person that was helping in Summer's case before she just passed away. Not yesterday, but the night before yesterday, I believe. If I'm not mistaken.
Immediately, Summer's parents became the center of a police investigation.
Summer's
Oh, shit.
parents, Candus and Dawn, had something to do with this, or have you ruled that out?
We haven't ruled anything out. Everything's possible.
Could she have gotten herself into a situation where it wasn't her fault, but
No.
you know what I mean?
No, she's a good mother. She loves her children. She's not going to allow.
All right, one thing that does make me feel weird, but this is probably nothing because it might be like how do you say cultural way of speaking? Like, I don't know. Like if it's me, right? Shouldn't he say like she's a really good mom to our children? But that's just also could be nitpicking, like, because again, different areas, they talk different, they say different things.
Any situation like that, the biggest mistake she might have made is maybe choosing some wrong friends, which is, it happens.
Choosing some wrong friends, which that happens. Oops, hold on. I lost her
Bureau of
spot.
Investigation in this case. Law enforcement remained tight-lipped about a community of less than 5,000 like today. It's been 2 years since a little
Damn
girl
it!
from Tennessee vanished from her rural
Okay,
home.
we'll get there.
Her name is Summer Wells, and her case has captivated people across the country. We have a brand new age progression photo to share with you from the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation in this case, and this shows what Summer would likely look like today. She was 5.
I suspect the authorities.
Summer Wells. The 5-year-old lived at this house in Rogersville, Tennessee, a tight-knit community of less than 5,000 people. On June 15th, 2021, her parents say Summer was helping
Yes,
plant flowers with
tattoos.
her mom and grandmother.
I do.
She wanted to go into the house. My wife watched her go into the door, and she went into the house, and the boys were on the internet, of course. She wanted to go downstairs and play with her toys.
I yelled downstairs for her a couple times, and I didn't get no answer, which was unusual. And so I went down there to check, and she was nowhere in sight.
2 years after her
Okay, so that's not new. I say a prayer for Summer every night. I really do. I believe you. As I think all of us do.
parents, Don and Candus Wells,
night,
gave
every
those
morning,
accounts,
every
that's
afternoon.
still all we know about the last time Summer was seen. Almost immediately, Summer's parents became the center of a police investigation.
Summer's parents, Candus and Dawn,
So the parents did become the center of the police investigation. Okay. So if that's true, the parents became the center of the police's investigation. They were, what's that say? How do you guys take that? What does that mean to you? Hearing that. What does that mean to you? Because to me, it could mean, all right, well, it's been 26 going on 27 months. And they're saying that, no, they're not cleared, right? But they were the center of the police investigation at first. Are they still? I don't know. But in 2 years, if they were the center of the investigation, they got nothing that they could lock either one or both up for. I don't know. You think that means that they were the prime suspect at that time? Interesting. Hey, Lauren. Sis. By the way, text me. And yeah, I mean, I have this like Chris McDonough love-hate thing. Okay? I do. Because I can't say everything he did was bad either. Do you know what I mean? Sure, we may not like some of the shit or the way he did it, and it could be a distraction. Maybe he thinks that way of some of us too. But hey, Stonefly Blue. Petty Crocker. Exactly, Petty Crocker. You think the family is always going to be the prime suspect if not found right away. Why do I think what, Patty Ellen? Sorry, which part? They might have also looked other leads with their focus on the parents, with only the focus on the parents. Right. Hey, Catalin. Hey, Lucia, good to see you. You're not blocked in here. What? No. Hey, Dee. Okay, let's keep going.
Had something to do with this, or have you ruled that out?
We haven't ruled anything out. Everything's possible.
Could she have gotten
We haven't ruled anything out. Anything is possible. This is 2 months ago. We haven't ruled anything out. Anything's possible. Now, don't forget Ronnie Lawson also said he thinks that there's an update soon to come on Summer's case. Okay? I want people to pay close attention to what has been going on in the past, I don't know, let's just say month. Since the 2-year anniversary. Okay? Fred's been hooked up to a lie detector test because of shit he said on YouTube, but YouTube channels don't matter in these cases. Get the fuck out of here. Hair curlers and crime. That's a cute name.
herself into a situation where it wasn't her fault, but
No.
you know what I mean?
No, she's a good mother. She loves her children. She's not going to allow any situation like that. The biggest mistake she might have made is maybe choosing some wrong brands, which is, it happens.
That does happen. But hold up, wait a minute. Was this the wrong friend she was making? Right? Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back. She wants to drop all these receipts. Right? All of her texting with Candus. Do you remember her beginning videos where she was defending Candus, almost like she was besties with Candus, and oh, we hung out and we took pictures of each other's bruises and blah 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 blah, right? And then from her own receipts, she's been texting, and they were gonna, get whatever from Jody Sue, whatever it is, shit before she was moving, right? So we know definitely that at least for a little while they were pretend friends, right? You know that fake friend bullshit. It happens a lot on the YouTubes. You know that, right? She went from defending Candus and quietly throwing Don under the bus to the point where Don actually did not even pick up he was being thrown under the bus by this bitch, to now throwing both of them under the bus. But okay, so we got this, right? She's showing you. She's been texting Candus in these group things. It's all up there in here. You guys watch it, right? Or did she delete it? I don't even know anymore. But you go look at her shit. You'll see. We all heard that shit. So, right? What other thing has Dawn said? Candus has made the wrong friends. I knew when my neighbor was standing at the bottom, something terrible happened this summer. And then, let's not forget what Benny just picked up in the interview with Dudley and Don. Which, let me see if I can find that quick. And then we're going to get back, because let me tell you. Oh, yeah, me too, Dee. She's, good for NyQuil. If you can't sleep, throw on. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to hide that. Sorry. Someone fix that. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Is it in his shorts? Or was it a video? There we go. Did the law tell you that Dudley was cleared?
We don't care who's streaming. Y'all
nobody
stop the
cleared.
chat.
They made that clear. Nobody was cleared.
Okay. Not even Jody Sue?
I really doubt they ever cleared Jody Sue because she was down there when Summer disappeared.
Right.
She's a whack job, so I don't see why they.
Did you hear that?
We heard it.
You missed it. Because I missed
Play it again,
too.
brother.
Listen.
All right, listen.
Summer disappeared. I really doubt they ever cleared Jody Sue because she was down there when Summer disappeared.
She was down there when Summer disappeared.
Boom. Now, remember what Don said. Right? I came home, saw my neighbor at the bottom of the hill, and I just knew something bad happened this summer. Right? Oh, God, now I'm sounding like PG. Right? Hey, Cam. Remain calm. Hey, boo. What did he say just after that? I just got out of there. Sexy Wild Thing Carol. Freaking Claus. That is a name. If about land, then Candus drops a big hint towards that in her first TV interview when she talks about Summer's favorite song, My House by New Breed. Explains a lot. That actually, good catch. Yes. And there is turf wars going on. We know that because it's all, I would say that is Jody Sue's motive. She hated the Wells for years. Hated them. She wanted them out. So bad that the day after Summer was reported missing, or within 72 hours or something, wasn't it? With receipts that dumb bitch showed. After letting the world know, not only did she auction off the clothes that she wore searching for Summer, that's fucking wild. That is some serial killer shit right there, okay? But she also told the whole world right off the bat that she was walking around in the creek. Why? Or in the little river. Why? You know, 'cause scents and stuff. You mean when Summer's scent ended? Right around that area? Why did it end there? I don't know. Could she be carried by somebody who was walking in the creek to cover up scents and shit? I don't know. I didn't say that, but I'm pretty sure she's going to say she didn't say it either and that we're all just twisting it. But that's what I remember. Now, if I knew what video and the timestamp that is set on, I'd pull it up really quick for everybody. Little Dev, never late, always on time, boo. Okay. All right. So with that being said, didn't the dogs hit on JS shoes or feet? Not sure how factual that is, Gigi, because that's a lot of hearsay down the line. JSB needs to take lie detector. Yes. Yes, she does. Let me put this back up. Okay.
Don Wells pleaded guilty to driving under the influence last year. Candus also filed an order of protection against him, but asked for...
I mean, he didn't really have another option. Unfortunately.
...to be dismissed. He now faces criminal charges in 3 states, including a domestic assault arrest in 2020. 2 years later, investigators have not charged either Don or his wife in connection to Summer's disappearance.
Right.
Everybody makes mistakes, and we all have to learn and go on. We're doing better. It's still very rough for my wife.
Don Wells sat down with News... to talk about where the case stands today. His wife hasn't sat down for an interview since this appearance on Dr. Phil in 2021, where she walked out of an interview in Texas.
No, I'm being interrogated again, and I don't want to do this anymore. Yes, I am.
We'll stop.
All right. Now, if we remember that, she started getting anxious with the mention of the cornbread mafia. That irked her. Now, we've had the behavioral panel and Dr. Phil, to each their own what you believe on either of those, okay? But they say not that she has guilty behavior of but they say it's guilty knowledge. And then she freaks out about Hey, buddy. How you doing?
Hey, are you still right there at the point where Candace walked out off the set?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I was just like,
I don't think that's a bad thing, by the way. You can tell she was...
well, no. Well, what was going on at that time?
1 second. Do you want me to...
Okay,
I'm live. Do you want this muted or do you want to be live?
It don't matter.
Okay.
Go ahead and put it live.
Okay.
But at that time, you know, that's at the time they found that little girl in the motel room, and they had to kick in the door, and they found they were calling us and giving us updates.
Right.
And we thought it was summer, and so the police actually had to kick in the door, and they found there was a little boy and a little girl, and I don't know exactly what happened after that, but it wasn't summer, so the emotions were just, you know, through the roof.
Right.
When we found out it wasn't summer, and then we was doing that interview the next day, probably, and she just couldn't take no more. I mean, but a lot of people don't understand about that part.
So it was more that than the cornbread mafia mentioned?
We really thought that we had our hopes up that it was summer that they were finding.
Right. I remember. I think I remember that time too. Yeah. So that didn't upset her.
And not only that, we were told, and we told them. We also told them, you know, this is something that's not public, but we were told, and we warned them also that if they got like way too uncomfortable or out of line in any way, that we were walking. You know, and that's kind of...
That was your arrangement before you did the interview. I'll interview with you guys,
Right,
but if we're uncomfortable, we're gone.
Yeah, like
okay.
if they get
fair.
stupid, or I mean, you know, and she just felt she was just going through a lot. I mean,
so if they were too late,
understandably.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's understandably. So it was more that than the mention of the cornbread mafia.
Yeah, because we don't even know what that is. I mean, we know that people run around in all over the country, you know.
And so, who you interviewed with,
I don't know.
one of them, Scott, it actually is my favorite from the behavioral panel. I've chatted with him once before via text messaging. Him and I believe it's Greg. They grew up in that area, right? And they knew about, they say cornbread mafia is a legit thing.
Well, maybe it is.
But that would be, from my understanding, of course I researched it, that's a marijuana situation, right? And moonshine and marijuana more?
Well, I have no idea. I mean, you know, them sort of people, no matter where you go, there's people that, you know, do things.
Right.
But whatever. You know, the drug trade still goes on, but all that stuff.
Oh, for sure.
Whatever goes on, no matter where you're at.
Yeah.
So all I know is, you know, they busted Fred. They must be really looking into people and stuff like that.
Yeah, so he's in solitary confinement right now. So I think whatever is...
They're doing their job.
Yep, and yeah, he apparently has been hooked up to a lie detector and everything with just what he's been putting out on YouTube. So that's interesting.
I just wanted to explain that real quick.
Thank
the
you.
reason that her emotions were so high, and the reason she walked off the set. And them guys, you know, Scott and Greg, you know, wonderful people. Anyways, I just wanted to explain that to you, but I'm going to get back off here.
All right. How's Candace feeling? How's Candace's foot?
She's struggling in pain.
Oh, man.
But she's fine.
She's got to lay down and prop it up with some pillows.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for calling. I'll get back to the line.
Yeah, appreciate y'all.
All right. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay. Sorry about that. All right. High Priestess Shira. May I ask Don if he's okay after Nana? We'll ask him that a different time. But yeah, no, he wasn't thrilled to hear about that either. He was worried that since she passed, would people come after him and Candus even harder because she passed away, and she really, really believed that it was Don and Candus involved. And so I know that kind of made them nervous, but also Don actually texted me before anything and it was like, is it true that Nana's Angels passed away? I was like, I'm not sure, I'm just hearing it. I was about to text you. And he was like, oh my God. He was like, I believe so. Wow. Oh my God. And he was sad to hear for sure.
I want you to feel comfortable.
Since Summer's disappearance, Don says their life has been consumed by harassment from people online who believe they're responsible for whatever happened to Summer.
Before you know it, you're getting a mob going. My wife could go to the store and somebody would scream at her, baby killer.
Now, imagine something comes out and Don and Candus are only guilty of turning their head for an instant, or being an addict, or being an alcoholic, which in my opinion, Don, this is not a dig at you or Candus, because I speak it because I've been there, done that. I don't think when those vices have you, you don't get to control what you're doing, especially like that fucking alcohol, man. And we know that they've had their issues. It's been very public. They've admitted to things too. And then people are out there getting him fired. So he falls behind on the child support for the boys who were taken into custody. And imagine finding out it's not Don and Candus and you're screaming baby killer at her while she's out shopping for groceries. That's fucked up. I don't care who you are. That is fucked up, and I don't think that'd make anyone feel good. You're sitting in front of the store.
He sent us videos from one of his job sites where some people were demanding to speak with him about the case. Don says it's gotten so bad he had to leave the state. Now the two live in an hotel.
I think this is why perhaps people should not be going to be boots on ground when they haven't taken a minute to take it in. They're just so full of the anger. And I'm not saying that anger is wrong. Because again, I've even been told Don and Candus probably wouldn't even say that being angry is wrong. But again, we don't know anything. We don't know anything. Imagine it comes out that it's somebody else altogether, that Don and Candus were simply the best fucking target to take. I'm sorry, textbook what a child looks like. 5 years old. Why is it usually 5? Because, it's usually 5 to 7. Why? Because they're usually out of diapers then. Facts. Also, memory starts forming a lot better from 5 and up, because that's what happens in the foster system. A lot of people, unfortunately, I've been told this a million times as a part of the foster system, because I was kind of older. I wasn't a baby, but my sister was a baby. Everyone tried to keep separating us and literally hurt. It's because I was damaged goods and I had a memory of what happened, and I was going to be more fucked up than my baby sister, who didn't have her memory formed yet to remember such trauma and things. So, Summer was 5. She was potty trained, I'm assuming. Blonde hair, blue-eyed, beautiful little girl. I don't know how people can't see that Don and Candus, with their own struggles and vices in life, could be the perfect target. Somebody would have known, too, that we were going to go hell-bent over Don and Candus for this. I think that was known to whoever. Also in kidnapping, a lot of times, stranger abduction, I'm not really sure. Because again, to me, a suspect would need the motive, access, and know the area well.
In Arkansas, where Don was able to find a new job. As for Summer's case, Don says they have private investigators working with police. The Hawkins County Sheriff's Office is still working alongside the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. Both agencies declined to give us an interview. Don
Me too, Lacey Ann.
says he hasn't learned anything new from police, but has always said he believes Summer was abducted. In the past, the sheriff said there's no evidence that happened.
Nothing pointing to abduction, nothing pointing to foul play, other than her walking outside the house and not being found.
There was also a key tip from a neighbor in...
Did you hear that?
Said there's no evidence that happened.
Nothing pointing to abduction, nothing pointing to foul play.
Nothing pointing to abduction. Nothing pointing to foul play. Ronnie says, other than she walks out.
Other than her walking outside the house and not being found.
Summer walking outside the house and not being found.
There was also a key tip from a neighbor in 2021.
Here we go with the neighbor, who, by the way, has motive, access, knows the area, knows Summer, close to the family, right? Here we go. How was she not top of suspect list? I don't know.
A woman and her teen children told police they heard a scream about an hour before Summer went missing.
I wish every day that when I heard that scream, I hadn't tried to dismiss it.
But the sheriff said after multiple interviews that...
Like, did she hear a scream? Did she hear the scream because of something she did? Then there was a scream? Like, is she telling little bits of truth? Is she self-snitching? Because Ronnie Lawson says that shit's unfounded.
Tip led nowhere. One clue they're still looking for is a pickup truck seen in the area around the time Summer vanished. It's described as a red or maroon Toyota truck with ladders on the back. Even if it's found, police aren't sure if the truck is connected to the case.
I do have hope, whatever the outcome is.
She heard the scream. Lacey Ann says she caused the scream. Mm-hmm.
I have hope in God. One day, either sooner or later, I will be with my daughter again.
The sheriff did decline an interview in the case. He emailed us, however, saying he expects to update us on the case in the near future.
Did you hear that? He emailed them 2 months ago and says he expects an update on the case in the near future. In the near future. Now, since then, we've heard Jody Sue say the words again. I'd really like to finish raising my littles. You know, because, like, I just really like to finish raising my littles, well, before I die, but I don't even know if I'm going to get to do that. Well, you don't give a shit about the smoking killing you, but remember, the cancer she has, smoking cures it and takes it away. Remember, she said that shit, okay? We're supposed to take this bitch as a credible witness who's saying that doctors told her to smoke to cure her cancer. All right. I mean, I'd like to meet that doctor. That's for damn sure. Yeah, you can't make this shit up. You, for real, cannot make this shit up. But that's the shit she said. So if you're so concerned, I don't look at it as she's dying from cancer. Oh my God, I hope that finished raising my littles. The one's already raised, by the way, and you shipped them off to the army or whatnot and whatever. But the other one's, I think, almost done being raised. So the cancer, if she cared about that so much, we wouldn't see her fucking smoking 20 packs every hour, right? So it's not that. No, it's not that. Could she be scared of going to prison for life? Because then she wouldn't be able to finish raising her littles, right? And she just has no cares in the world of her fucking cancers. Right? She's fucking getting baby moles all over herself in the last 2 years. Dumb fucking things. The baby moles had baby moles. Okay? I don't think the smoking's curing anything. It's putting more moles. Every peck that bitch takes down. Mole. She should stop. She's literally losing her neck to moles. Ugh. Not cute.
In the meantime, Don and Candus have 3 boys. They have been taken by child services. That happened a month after Summer's disappearance. Don says they have not been allowed to talk or see their boys in half a year, but he does hope that he gets them back. I want to show you once again the age.
Okay, and everyone gets on the walls and everyone's speculating why that is. I just want to say Don put that information out publicly on his own. Like, I just, like, sometimes I don't know why he does this to himself, but you know, and people take it and they're like, oh, this is terrible, but why would he share something like that? Like, that's what I can't like wrap my mind. Like, why would he share? He didn't have to share that and none of us would know because everything's sealed in the case, right? Because it's so we wouldn't even know. They could have told us that they've been talking to the boys all along and none of us would know any different. He's being fucking very honest.
Progression photo of Summer Wells, what she would look like now, as I welcome in our News Nation reporter from that area of the country, Johnson City, Tennessee.
I don't give a shit, Terry.
Since the beginning. Ansley, thank you.
Don't come in here and tell me to stop with Jody Sue's cancer, because that bitch absolutely said her doctor told her she's got the kind of cancer that smoking helps. Get the fuck out of here. You can just go all the way into next Thursday for all I care. Don't come in here and say that, okay? Period. I don't give a shit if she's got cancer, okay? She doesn't either. She smokes 20 packs every hour. Get the fuck out of here. So she don't give a shit about her cancer either. Bye!
At this age progression of what Summer would look like now 2 years later, what impression are you getting from law enforcement as to why they're releasing this now, the timing of this new photo?
Here we go.
If you played a Sims 4 with
Commercial
mods
break.
and you don't know about the Curse Forge app yet, I'm about to change your life.
She's not. She lied to everybody.
So the last time I spoke to TBI was via email. They
You'll notice Ansley Daniels has changed her voice again.
are not doing any updates this year. They held a press conference last year on the 1-year anniversary. However, they did tell us that Summer would not have been eligible for an age progression photo until she had been missing for 2 years. This
Oh, okay. Okay, I was wondering that. Not eligible for a age progression picture till missing for 2 years. I don't think it looks like Summer either, because Summer is a small girl. She's small. Like, yeah, she's 5 or 7 now, right? Going on 8, but you would still go up to be more skinnier than that. I mean, I just know this. I've been tiny all my life. Even on my biggest days, I'm still tinier.
This is through the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. They have a team of forensic artists. I actually spoke with someone from that organization yesterday. And so apparently it takes 2 years for these children to even be eligible for these photos.
So all children, 2 years. So that's just, I guess, Hawkins County or perhaps Tennessee's way.
And unfortunately, this seems to be the only update that we're going to be getting in this case on this 2-year anniversary.
Ansley, as I said to you a moment ago when we were on the air for News Nation Live, there is so much interest in this case. As soon as we said we would be revisiting it, and it is one of the first missing cases that we covered, the emails started pouring in. People care about this case now, 2 years later, just as much as they did when Summer first went missing. I have a lot of questions from viewers, and I'm going to try to get to some of them. Some may be difficult to answer, but you're closer to the case than most. I want to begin with a question from Betty in Florida, and she says, does law enforcement have any personal...
All right, y'all know where my mind went as soon as I heard Betty from Florida, right? Birdie's kind of chat.
...interest or suspects in the case?
I'm not sure, Glitter Witch. I saw that. I'm not sure why you were. Sorry about that. I don't think you should have been.
Throughout the investigation, any evidence discovered that supports the theory that Summer had been abducted? Can you shed any light on that question from Betty?
You're in Pennsylvania? And there's a girl that looks like the age progressed photo of Summer. It's kind of scary. But how long has that girl been around there?
So since the very beginning, law enforcement said that everyone is a suspect in this case.
All right, this is where I want people to pay attention.
So since the very beginning, law enforcement said that everyone is a suspect in this case, meaning her parents, people who were close to her at church, anybody in the family.
I'm going to take that back for a minute. Y'all, you're listening, right? Everyone's listening? I'm going to put on normal speed for a minute.
Close to her at church, anybody in the family, such. So since the very beginning, law enforcement said that everyone is a
still a suspect. Listen.
Suspect in this case, meaning her parents.
Her parents.
People who were close to her at church.
Oh, people close to her from church. Okay, let's continue.
Anybody in the family, such as her grandmother.
Grandma. Okay. Anyone in the family, of course, Don Candus, Grandma. Now we've got church folk thrown in there as suspects that the police told her. So, church people close to Summer. Interesting. Grandma. Mom, Dad. Okay.
Maybe even implying to other members of the family and neighbors.
Other members of the family and neighbors. Church people close to Summer was just put in the suspect list, while everyone else was saying how fucking crazy I was for even saying that. One more time? Okay, one more time.
That supports the theory that Summer had been abducted. Can you shed any light on that question from Betty?
Doesn't matter, they still said it though, but yeah. They still said
So
it.
since the very beginning, law enforcement said that
Right, Chatty
everyone
Jen.
is a suspect in this case, meaning her parents, people who were close to her at church, anybody in the family, such as her grandmother, maybe even implying to other members of the family and neighbors. So again, law enforcement has not ruled anyone out 2 years later. However, no.
Jody Sue has not been ruled out 2 years later. Nobody's been ruled out, including people close to Summer within the church. Oh, that's so
Nobody
interesting.
has been charged, so I think that that's important to kind of say both of those things, that, again, everybody is on the table when it comes to being a suspect. However, 2 years later, there are no charges. Now, when it comes to the abduction.
What do y'all think about that? Oh, feisty filly. Don't come in here and tell a 39-year-old how she should think or act or behave, okay? Because you're not my mom or dad, okay? Get the fuck off this channel. How am I supposed to take someone's cancer seriously and feel bad about it when the person with the cancer doesn't take it seriously or feel bad about it? Sit on it and rotate, okay?
Abduction theory, law enforcement has not given us any information or evidence that supports that. However, they also have not given us any evidence that goes against that claim. I do know that back a few months after Summer was reported missing, her father did take some of us out on a dog trail near their house. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this area, but where they live is very rural. They live up on top of a hill, and it's kind of hard to get to their house.
Right.
However, they did say that the police dogs, that their scent of Summer kind of stopped at the end of the dog trail there. Police haven't really made a big deal about that, like Summer's parents.
So the police haven't made a big deal. Her scent stops there, the end of the dog trail.
Have. So unfortunately, that really led to nowhere. But when it comes to that abduction claim, again, law enforcement hasn't, gone for that, or they also haven't denied it, really.
Right. They haven't gone for it or denied
that
it.
we get about possible people connected to this family is about the grandmother who was, according to reports and investigators, there the day that Summer was last seen. Evelyn from South Dakota is asking about the grandmother and what she has said about the day Summer disappeared.
So I actually interviewed the grandmother. Her name is also Candus. I interviewed her back in March of last year. That was the first time she had spoken on camera. She walked us through that day. From what I remember, she was in the hospital that morning, and they were out and about here in Kingsport, kind of the largest town near where they...
Yeah, there's been different things said with even Grandis, too. Yeah, yeah, about the child that lives by the girl in Pennsylvania. You know what? Better be safe than sorry. You know?
They live, getting some medicine and things of that nature throughout the day. She told us that they ended up going back home and that she and Summer were planting flowers in her garden. She lived on the property with them at the time. And she said that Summer then went inside of the house, and Candus, her daughter, Summer's mother, asked the boys to watch her, and that was the last time she had seen Summer.
I don't think he's running again, Heidi. That'll be interesting to see at the end of the year.
Again, have not ruled her out as not being a suspect, have not said she is a suspect, but again, they said everybody is on the table when it comes to this case. I know that there have been some questions about her grandmother leaving the state. A lot of people have asked if that was connected to this. She's been cleared to do so, according to what she told me in that interview. The law enforcement agencies told her she was free to go as long as, you know, she answered their phone calls when they did call.
Did you hear that? So we all wondered, like, why is she allowed to leave? Or I wondered, like, what the hell? Why is she allowed to go, right? Oh, she's allowed to go home as long as she answers that phone when they call her, right?
But that was the last we have heard from Summer's grandmother. When I spoke
Okay, but we feel better.
to Don last Friday, he said that she was not in Arkansas with them. He wouldn't really give me too much information about where he is. He made it seem like he didn't even know where she is. So at this point, I can't tell you where Summer's grandmother is or how connected or even disconnected she is to the case.
I'd say the bitch is pretty disconnected.
Understood. The other question that comes up in a lot of submissions that we're getting is echoed here in a question from Maggie from Australia, and she's asking about contact with the three boys. What more did Don say about why the boys were taken from them in the first place?
So back in the beginning when all of this happened, they were taken away about a month after Summer was reported missing. I went to some of those hearings. I was not allowed inside the courtroom, but did speak with Don and Candus afterwards. At the time, they told us that it was just because it was not safe for them to be at the home. At the time, there was a lot of YouTube speculation happening. There were a lot of people, according to them, coming onto their property and things of that nature. When I spoke with Don last week, he said that Child Protective Services made it seem that it was a little too traumatizing for them to speak with the boys. He wouldn't really elaborate on that, but that was the final statement he gave when it came to his boys. We unfortunately don't know too
Yeah, everything's sealed and there's gag order, as you already know, so he's not even supposed to be saying much on that.
much about their case, where they're at, or how they're even doing, because that case is sealed, as most cases like that are. But this one has been extremely tight-lipped. Now, Don did tell me that when he was in jail, he was able to write letters and things of that nature to the boys. But he
Damn, Olivia, she needs content so fucking bad. She's holding up 2 cameras outside his work. That's some crazy shit. 1, 2, 3, 4 people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cameras. What the fuck? Like, they wanted content, man. They weren't gonna miss the shit. They're proud of that shit.
He said that when he got out of jail in February of last year, I believe, was when we had that conversation. He did tell me that he hadn't heard from them since he was released from jail, and that's when all the communication stopped.
You know, and I think the biggest thing, Ansley, as we have these discussions with Don, and we had ours as well, is the biggest question of all is, what do you think happened to your daughter? Did you have anything to do with it? When asked that question, how did he respond to you?
Recordings.
She'll tell us after a commercial break.
Are now available.
He continues to maintain that he and Candus believe that Summer was abducted. That is their theory. He did tell me that the two of them have kind of played the day back over and over again, and that in his mind, there's no other option that she was abducted. He said that Summer knew to not run off from the house. Again, they do live in a very wooded area. That area is hard to get to. Their house is way up on a hill. In my opinion, you have to have a reason to be going to their house. So I do see where he might be coming from.
Did you hear
However,
that?
you know, law enforcement.
In her opinion, because of where the house is and the terrain there, like, someone would need a good reason to be going there and want to put their vehicle through that shit and, you know.
They have not given anything to back up that claim when it comes to the abduction. The only thing we had to go off of was, like you mentioned earlier, the red truck. That hasn't really been mentioned since law enforcement put that information out. And then they also said that there were no cell phones that pinged that day. So again, it's just kind of one of those things where she...
Hello, Jerry. Not a troll. Keep up the good work, sure. Oh, well, welcome.
Really, there's just no answers 2 years later, and it's frustrating for all parties involved.
Yeah, and for the community members who wonder, you know, if something like this happened, you know, are other kids at risk, right? A very valid question. I want to get quickly to two more questions before I welcome in our next guest. I have less than 10 minutes. I feel like I'm up against the clock. We've got so many people who want to ask questions. This is from Cassie, and she's asking specifically, Ansley, about searches inside and outside the Wells home, canines that were involved in those searches. Did any evidence turn up then or now?
Right, I do too. I'm curious if it comes out that Don and Candus are only guilty of their own vices, that somebody else set them up and everyone's been doing this to them. Who would apologize? I'm curious about that too. It'll be interesting to find out the truth one day, which I hope we all do, and see the outcome. I know I sure shit would, even though I've done it a million times already privately. Yeah, I sure shit would. I would definitely still apologize because, I mean, yeah. And I hope others would too. I'll tell you something. If it came out it's not Dan and Candus, I'm pretty sure Nana Angels would be apologizing. That's just who she is. I would do it. I think there's some that would do it because I think that their hearts are actually good. I think Justice for All would. I do. I think he would. That's just my own personal beliefs. I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying I believe that in my heart. Yes, Jerry.
Like I mentioned before, the only evidence that we were really aware of was the dog trail incident. We were told that Summer Scent stopped at the end of the dog trail there. Law enforcement did tell us that there was a change in pavement to wooded area. So sometimes the dogs can react to the change in pavement. Obviously, there's going to be different scents when it comes to pavement and wooded areas. So again, that's really the main piece of evidence that we have from law enforcement. But like I mentioned before, they've been really quiet since the 1 year anniversary. It's been very difficult to get in touch with the sheriff in the case. We've been reaching out to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. We've had a few email responses, but they declined all of our asking for interviews. So it's been, like I said, kind of difficult when it comes.
I do want an update, to be honest, because I feel like we've only heard the same things from law. Everybody's still on the table. Jody Sue's unfounded, and we're still looking into everything. Now, what really makes me feel like kind of hopeless, again, is that they're saying that there's no new leads or no new tips coming in. I don't know if I believe that, or what they think is credible. I guess there's probably stuff coming in, but just not ones that are credible, perhaps. Maybe that is it. Yeah, don't like that.
Comes to the evidence in this case, law enforcement just hasn't really told us much, and they say that when they have something, they'll let us know.
Did the parents and any other family members take a polygraph early on in the investigation?
We were told in the beginning that both of her parents took a polygraph. If I'm not mistaken, I do believe her grandmother also told me that she took a polygraph test as well.
Okay.
They told us that they all came back clean. So I'm not sure about her brothers. Obviously, her brothers are juveniles, so they wouldn't release that information.
Now, that's something I was wondering. Have you all wondered, did the brothers get a polygraph? That's interesting. And if the brothers did get a polygraph, would Don and Candus, if they were guilty, not have been picked up by now in almost 27 months? So that's interesting to think about. Did they? I don't know. Did they need Don and Candus's approval at first to do that? I don't think so. Did they get taken into custody so that they became the state's children, so that the state gets to be the one that gives the permission for them to get lie detectored. It's interesting to think about anyway.
To us anyways, but as of now, I do know that Donald
A
And Candus
dealer,
and his
yes,
grandmother-
a dealer wouldn't risk it, but an addict would. Absolutely, Lauren. That's true. Yep. You aren't wrong about that.
did all pass their polygraph test in the beginning of this case.
Well, the interest in Summer's disappearance.
I don't know if you have to be 18 for a polygraph. I'm not sure. I didn't give it much thought until re-listening to this, because honestly, the first time I listened, I didn't even fucking hear that. I don't know how I didn't, but I did not hear that. And I was like, oh, well, that's an interesting thought.
It has not dwindled. Even 2 years later, there are so many people who
I'm
care
not
about
sure,
this little girl.
Lisa.
Ansley
I
Daniel
think-
with our...
I think this is something I would like to look into, and I will ask some of the detective friends that I know and can get in touch with and kind of ask how that works. I'm not sure I've given much thought to a child doing a polygraph before, but I do know. I mean, shit, haven't we seen it done, like, on TV, I feel like, though? Like, hasn't, like, Dr. Phil given polygraphs to minors? I feel like, I don't know. Steve Wilkos must have. I don't know.
Our station in Johnson City, Tennessee. I know that...
Okay, I don't have time to finish through this because I have to go to work soon. But that is definitely something interesting to look at. Let me do just a quick Google here on that, because yeah, can minors some polygraph examiners will test minors. Many refuse because of difficulties involved in administering the actual exam, avoiding increases in stress that could skew results, and providing an environment that helps the minor open up. So, there is no minimum age for a polygraph. However, the polygraph requires a certain level of language and abstract concept comprehension to successfully complete an exam. This natural barrier elements most children under the age of 12 from being tested. So you already know what I'm thinking with that. Possibly one of the three may have been an option for. Maybe. I don't know. But just from listening to that being brought up, which when they bring stuff like that up, it makes me go, because why are they bringing that up? Right? Hello. Hey.
Are you still live?
Yeah. Do you want me to mute?
No.
Okay.
I just would like to kind of express my opinion a little bit. That's all right.
Yeah.
I just feel, there was a lot of traffic in the area. A lot of things going on up in back there. I don't know. There's a lot of. My thing was going to work every day and supporting my family. That's what we did. I hung out with the Tuckers and all the people that they knew out that way in Limestone. We didn't hang out with all these people in this area. We didn't really know them. We knew that there was something, with all the traffic. We knew that there was something going on back there. That's obvious, right?
Right.
I mean, that's totally obvious when you got traffic coming in and out, all kinds of different vehicles.
And when you're mentioning all the traffic, I can't help but think even Jody Sue has released texts where she was bitching about all the traffic in and out.
Right. And she's actually run people, well, we can't quite see the bottom of our driveway or whatever. There's people that would sit down there, I guess, and do their drugs or whatever at the bottom of the damn driveway.
Mm-hmm.
So she's actually run people out of there. Whatever. I mean, there's a lot going on. When you got somebody doing drugs in your area, that brings all the traffic. It brings all the hood rats. It brings all the everything, and all the people stealing stuff. I'm sure, I'm positive that people were up here stealing stuff because, in the middle of the night with us unaware.
Yeah.
And you come up with stuff missing. There's gasoline missing out of my dirt bike. The hose was off of it one time.
Oh, shit.
Missing all kinds of weird odds and ends stuff. Not only that, and this stuff has been mentioned before, I think, but when Jody Sue said someone was peeping through her window that night, Andy chased them out the door. He went out the door, and they ran down the hill, a steep hill, I guess, according to him, as fast as they could and disappeared. In the middle of the night at some point. That's happened to us up here. Candace went outside, one night, and there was somebody that ran down the hill as fast as they could. They got in the car, and by the time she woke me up and everything, I heard a car tearing down Beach Creek, headed west, as fast as that car would go. And that was probably about 2 o'clock in the morning. All kinds of stuff going on. And that comes, when you got, drugs in the area, that's the kind of thing you can expect, I guess. You get all kinds of different weirdos coming into your area.
Now, did you hear when Andy actually went live and said that person he chased looked like you?
Well, it may have looked like me, but it was not me. Whatever. Me and him have talked about that a little bit. I'm trying to narrow that down a little bit.
Yeah. Well, he probably was going off of what she said, though.
Well, he said he actually seen the face through the glass and run out the door, and they took off down the hill as fast as they could go, running down a steep bank.
Damn.
I can't remember the rest of it, but yeah, all kinds of stuff like that. I've talked to my neighbors, come up with stuff missing, just odds and ends stuff.
And that's interesting because I know that Jody Sue's trying to say it's you and Candace, even with no proof, but she was also saying things off of her porch was going missing and stuff too.
Right.
And then could I ask you a quick question? Sorry.
If you go up behind his house, like if you go all the way to Andy's house up there on top of that hill, you go way behind his house, you're actually up on top of ridge tops that connect to other properties going back through there. So you could walk on top of them ridge tops and not be seen and creep around them, and who knows? I mean, that's what methamphetamine does to people. They just want to, I guess, creep around and be creeps. That's what that stuff does to people.
Yeah. Okay.
So there was a lot of that going on. But go ahead.
A comment came up, I think, my last live. I thought it was a good question. You guys have a bunch of security cameras and stuff, right? But did you ever think about doing that before Summer's disappearance? Like, people were wondering how come no cameras before.
At the time of Summer's disappearance, I mean, we was having a hard time. I mean, I had a really good job. We was doing what we could with the house.
Yeah.
We just tore the trailer out of here with a bulldozer. I had to hire the guy to come up with a bulldozer and bulldoze all that down.
Who was that? Can you text me who that was? Is that person a suspect in any way?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't believe so.
Okay.
There was
Don't say a name.
Quite a bit before her disappearance.
Well, quite a bit before, but how, did you notice any weirdness of him looking at Summer? Just because it was quite a bit before. Okay.
No, nothing like that.
Okay.
My big thing is the traffic coming in and out of here, and the view that they had if they were coming from Fred's house, the view that they might have of our house. Because I've taken pictures of it myself. You can see the backside of our house very well. You can see Summer swing and all that.
Right.
It doesn't take much to come up that dog trail, and you can hide very well in the bushes and everything else.
Yeah.
So it'd be very easy for somebody to, if they wanted to abduct Summer, it probably wouldn't have been that hard.
Right.
Yeah, hindsight's 20/20 for sure on the cameras and everything like that.
It sounds like it was a work in progress. You probably would have had those sooner than later.
We had the internet and everything. Cameras are pretty expensive. Now you can get them dirt cheap now.
Right.
But yeah, I wish to God I would have had cameras everywhere. I wish I would have had a chain link fence. I wish I would have had 4 German Shepherds or pit bulls. I wish I could go back and change all of that. I really do.
Right.
I would do anything. I just never thought. I just didn't think somebody would come up.
Nobody plans for their child to go missing, right?
Right.
Have the tree trimmers all been investigated to your knowledge?
Oh, I'm sure the police have. Yeah, they've questioned everybody. I mean,
So, did you hear, if you were listening, that they're saying even people within your church that were close to Summer are suspects?
well, the only ones that were really close to Summer was the other young girls that were in her class. They all hung out together and done their own thing in the church. I mean, you know, the adults went to their classes, and
So they're not like hooking up Robin Lane or Tim Mullen to lie detector tests or anything?
oh, I'm sure. I mean, either one of them would do a lie detector test, no problem, if they were asked to.
Yeah. Well, I guess anyone. It doesn't have to be them, but anyone. They said the church, not a person's name. So I thought that was something new I hadn't heard before.
I don't think anybody in the church are suspects at all.
Okay. You trust everybody in there.
I personally do, yeah. And I know where Summer was, and I know who she was hanging out with in her class, and she loved it. She loved. She really looked up to Robin a lot, wanted to be like her, you know, and I thought that was great because Robin's just a good person. She's always doing stuff for the church and always doing the right thing, and I thought that was pretty cool that Summer wanted to be like her, you know, or, you know, looked up to her, so to speak. There's nothing wrong with that at all, you know.
Right.
I mean, Robin's always making the stuff for the church, doing the plays, coordinating plays, spent a lot of time setting stuff up, all that. You know, she's a Saturday school teacher for the children. She does everything she can.
Okay.
You know,
well,
it's pretty commendable.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like if it was, I think the law in 26 months would be on that anyway, so.
Well, yeah.
I see you sent me
I don't know what else to say.
You sent me a picture or something. Did you want me to share that?
That's up to you.
Oh!
Pretty rude for whoever.
Wow.
Is. She keeps attacking us over and over, whoever this person is. And,
oh, I think she's talking shit about me too. Am I your demonic minion? Well, okay then.
But I just, you know, all in all, I'm doing everything that I can to do the right thing. That's what I want to do in life. I want to steer everybody in the right direction towards God if I can. That's what I'm personally doing. I'm trusting Him to do what's right. That's my number one priority. And that's what I wanted to do with my kids. We tried to get, you know, we had them in church. We were trying. We're not perfect people. No, not at all. But I'm trying. we're trying.
That's all you can do. Like I said, if people find out that you guys are innocent in all this and just guilty of being the perfect target, do you think people are going to apologize? Do you want people to apologize?
I think that's what it is. I think this is, people got to know about Summer, that people probably, I imagine in my mind that they got to talking to, various people. I don't know. I don't know how this works. I don't want to know how the methamphetamine rings work around here. I want nothing to do with that stuff. I'm just happy to know that the police are doing their job, evidently, to be able to nail certain people around here and do the work. So at least we know that they're doing what they can.
Yeah. So you said your PIs are working with the police. Does that mean that they're in contact steady with the police on your behalf then?
Well, yeah, anything.
So should Ronnie Lawson be now telling people you're
PI
cooperating?
Well, he can.
Sorry.
We've never stopped cooperating. He was just the reason. Okay, the reason that this happened was because our lawyers for our boys told us to stop cooperating with them because it would affect us getting our boys back.
Okay.
But we couldn't stop. Because we thought for a minute that might be the right thing to do, but we also got to worry about Summer and do everything we can for her. So we couldn't not cooperate. We had to do everything we can. So we've never stopped cooperating with law enforcement. Never have. I know that don't make sense, but as far as getting our boys back.
Is that still an option, yes or no? Or can you say? Don't say if you can't. That's okay.
The boys.
Is it an option?
We're hoping and praying, that our life could ever get back to whatever it was before.
Well, just keep doing, we've had this conversation. Just never stop trying to do better and better yourselves, because no matter...
Yeah, that's all we can,
there's people controlling them now and their decisions. If they want to see you, be with you, and vice versa, you guys with them right now. But that won't always be the case. You know that.
Yeah, we got to fight,
Yep.
Yeah, our house, I still have a lot more I want to do on my house. I still have another addition that I want to do, but I need a lot of concrete. I need a lot of money.
Okay.
Another addition, that's in my plan.
Why don't we
without it.
plan something this week? And let's tell the people, you go through, figure out what you want to do, and people will get out there and help you.
That's true.
Right?
There's some good people out there, and I really do appreciate the good people out there. It's been so confusing. It's been confusing for the people out there, but it's also been really confusing for us and what we should or shouldn't do. And I know it makes us look suspect, but we're confused. We don't know what we should and shouldn't do and this and that, but we know we want to do everything we can to fight for our children. So yeah, we'll never stop cooperating with police.
Good.
We never will.
That's good to hear.
They have my phone. They can call me anytime they want. TBI.
Can I ask when the last time is that you have gotten a call from the law at all? Just a general, like maybe weeks or months or days.
About a month ago.
Okay.
But we pretty much try to keep the case. I don't know. How can I say this?
Well, don't say it if you shouldn't.
The private investigators have all this compiled. They're the ones really, along with law enforcement, I'm not, or have this all, however they do their job. I don't know how they do their job. I know how to do drywall, but I don't know. So we just take everything that we have to them, and they share everything with them like that. So any of these wannabe detectives and stuff on YouTube and stuff like that, instead of taking it and putting on YouTube, you can always send it to me through Messenger or send it to anything that you might have. Send it to share or send it to me through Messenger, and I'll make sure it definitely gets.
It gets to it. It gets given to the PIs, and they give it to the law.
Stuff that, taking it and putting it on YouTube, a lot of things isn't. It just makes it all worse. And if there was a credible tip and it was put on YouTube,
it's fucked.
They would know. Yeah, it would ruin everything. And, so definitely thank you for letting me say that.
Yeah, absolutely. I gotta get ready and head off to work, but I'll be in touch on my break.
God bless you all. Thank you very much.
Thank
Talk to
you.
later.
All right, bye, Don.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna have to end this. I'm due at work in 20 minutes. I actually called in to be half an hour late so I could come live with y'all for a little bit. So this isn't done. This is part one. We got about halfway through of what I wanted to say. Yeah. But before we go, I'd really like to share one more time with you. Nana's Angels, who's worked on this case, has passed away recently. And I know a lot of people felt a little funny with sending cash apps to help with the funeral costs. But now there is a actual funeral home that if you feel more comfortable, you can send your donations directly to the funeral home. I know that makes me feel a lot better, and I'll be making a donation as soon as I can. And so let me get that for you. Now, for the people who don't mind, there's cash apps here, Nana's Angels. You can go there. Can we share her links, please, Mod, or her channel link for people to go to? And then there is the funeral home is in here. Haven Memorial in Danridge, Tennessee. Okay. And the funeral home is accepting donations. Nana's Angels did not wish to be cremated. And of course, when you pass away, it puts your loved ones in debt for your funeral. And so the kids are heartbroken. They were live today and just beside themselves. Again, it was very beautiful, touching, and fucking sad. The thing this morning. So, I'm not jaded on this one. I do believe she really passed away. If anyone's wondering, I do. That's why I'm sharing this now. So again, the funeral home is Rest Haven Memorial in Danridge, Tennessee, and they are taking donations so that Nana's wish was to be buried and have a wooden casket. It was against her wishes to be cremated. Unfortunately, right now, that's what the family is being pushed towards because of the final costs of the funeral. So, if you would like to give, there's all the information. It's Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. And for the ones that don't trust that, there is the memorial place where you can send donations to. Call them and do it that way. All right. So I will be back. I don't know if tomorrow or not, but I'm off on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I'll definitely, Sunday is my daughter's 19th birthday, but in the evening I'm going to spend an hour and discuss Courtney Struble, because like it's my Courtney's birthday. So I just thought I'm going to spend an hour and bring up Courtney Struble. And I'm mingling in the small community here, and I hear things that y'all haven't got to hear yet. And I want to share with you. And I know that there's several people locally and several people locally who don't want to hear me continue covering this case, but we're gonna. In fact, I think we're gonna look into the billboard stuff for her as well. I'll get with Benny on that, as well as I want to figure out how to do the blimp situation in Minnesota and Wisconsin on behalf of Summer. And then maybe we can figure out like Regina and what's it called? Saskatoon? Saskatoon?
Saskatoon.
Saskatoon?
Yeah, that's city.
Yeah, okay. You know, big cities on Courtney Struvel's behalf. So we'll get to that. But for now, I gotta go get ready for work. I love y'all. Check out Nana's Angels stuff. And much love and prayers to her family. Bye.